Hi, from now on, we will focus on the overlap events for our portal's different components. We will need to implement these in order to finish the portal logic. And once we are finished, you will see the entire picture of why we are doing this. I'm gonna make use of my reference project because there is a few things we need to do and I want to stay consistent. So I'm gonna do it and explain what I'm doing, of course, and let you know about what's going on. So first off, I'm gonna add the overlap events for the call1 and call2. If you look here, we have the collision box here. I'm gonna right click, add event, add on component beginning overlap. I'm gonna do the same thing for call2. Add on component begin overlap. And then we have the end overlaps as well for both of the components. I'm going to select this, add on component end overlap for call1, and then we have call2, add on component end overlap. All right, so for now I'm going to keep it as it is. Let's go up. And we will start from top to bottom. So it's call2. I'm going to change their place here. So we will stay consistent with my reference project. So I'm gonna move these up also so we are making some room for ourselves. Okay. All right, so let's get started. We need the call2 here, so I'm gonna drag it out. We also need the, there's something called exit collider. That's something we are going to create. And so let's get started. I'm gonna hold down the B key and left click so we get a branch. And the reason for doing this is because I want to see if this is the exit collider or not. And I'm going to show you why we're doing this very soon. And let's go a bit more to the right. I'm gonna, let's see. Yeah, we are setting the exit collider here, and because if we go from, if this is the, I'm overlapping with the call2, it means we will come out from, the other one, call1, because collision box 1 is our exit collider. If you look here, you can see that if this is our entrance, call2, this is the collision box 2, we will really just teleport to the other portal, so this means that we will come out from collision 1. Okay, so that's why our exit collider will be collision 1 if we are overlapping with collision 2. Okay, and the same goes the other way around. So that's the reason for why I'm doing this. So what we need to do here is keep track of our exit node. So I'm gonna bring out the collision 1 here. Get world location. Get world location. And let's see. Yeah. Get world location, and then what we can do is a P1 capture. We can get the P1 capture. I'm gonna get the rotation of this. Get world rotation. And then I'm gonna promote this to a variable and call this exit light. So we have a variable that keeps track of this. So our exit collider will be different depending on where we enter and exit. I'm gonna hold down the C to make a comment and type jump portal. This is just a comment. What I'm gonna do is create an interface function on our character, so we will make use of that to jump from one portal to another. So that's what we're gonna do now before we proceed. I'm gonna double click here so I can see how it looks like. Yeah. So let's go to our portal folder. I'm gonna right click here and go to blueprint. Let's see, and then we have blueprint interface. I'm gonna call it BP port jump portal. I think that's a good name. And really what it's going to do is take a target location and rotation. Let's see if we can make some space here. So I'm going to add some inputs to this. I hope you know what interfaces are used for in this course, as this is well, this project here is intermediate level. But interfaces are basically a collection of functions, and this allows us to call specific functions. And I'm going to show you soon how this works. So this should be a vector. And then we need another input here, target rotation. Then we have rotator. So I'm gonna compile and save. And we will need to add this to our character. Let's see. Yeah, portal jump. So I'm gonna open up our character. It's in first person blueprint, BP first person. Let's go to class settings. I think it was in class settings. Yes, you have a section here called interfaces. We need to add this interface. I'm going to search for BPI portal jump. So I'm going to save all for now. So we have implemented this interface. You can see it down here. And if I just look at it, let's see. We are going to implement this function. So let's do that before doing anything else, finishing off the other functions. So really, you're going to get the vector length and velocity. Let's see, jump velocity. We are going to get the velocity, get velocity. And I'm going to get the vector length and promote this to a variable. Let's call it jump. I'm going to save this here, and I'm going to make it look better like this. And then we have something called set actor location and rotation. Location and rotation. We are gonna set both, so both the location and rotation. And the rotation is basically the target rotation we input here, and then this is the location. Let's add some reroute nodes. Let's see if I can do this. And I'm gonna double click on this and drag it here. We are gonna set the controller's rotation as well. We will need to do that because our player is using the controller and its rotation. So I'm gonna set the player's rotation itself. This is the pawn's rotation, the actual character's rotation we are setting here, but we also need to set the actual controller's rotation. So I'm gonna do a controller. And I'm going to do a set control rotation, because what you need to do here is really depends on what kind of rotation you are using, or rotation settings, because you can use the pawn rotation, or you can choose to use the actual controller's rotation. And when I say controller's rotation, a controller could be well, our mouse input, for example, or keyboard input, depending on how you implemented rotation. But it's the device that makes some kind of input to your pawn that makes the pawn rotate. Okay, so the control is really an invisible entity that exists, but it has its own rotation. And that rotation of the controller, what rotation the controller is having, that is what the pawn or the character is using. So if you choose to use the controller's rotation, you will have the rotation of that controller, and the controller is having really its own rotation and orientation. So we are going to use the rotation of the controller here. And I'm going to compile and save. Oh, we need the rotation, so I'm going to drag from here and input it here. Compile again, save. And one last thing we are going to do is get the active forward vector and the jump velocity. I'm going to multiply this together. Hold down Control and drag it down, and I'm going to do this. Drag this to that pin, and it turns it into a vector pin. And then we are gonna set the velocity. Let's see if I can. Yeah, we have the character movement component. Set velocity. All right, so and why are we doing this? Well, we're using the jump velocity and get active forward vector. This is because after we have jumped, because as you can see here, we're setting the actor location and rotation to the new location. So we are basically jumping here, and then we are setting the control rotation as well, so we are getting the correct orientation. And what's happening next is we are making use of the forward vector and jump velocity to maintain a more correct direction when we get out from the other portal. Okay? If you don't do this, it might look a little bit strange when you get out of the exit portal. It could, for example, be that when you jump out of the exit portal, you will go to the wrong direction. So we really need to do this to maintain a correct direction as much as we can when we exit that portal. Alright, so I'm going to compile and save this. Save it here as well. I'm going to go back to BP portal. So now we are having this jump portal. And this is really the other actor coming in here, because if I just drag it from here, search for jump, you can see that it becomes a message. If you look at the letter to the top right, it really just means that this is an interface function, and it also means that this will only be used if it does exist, if this actor we are referring to here implements that interface. And in normal cases, we know that it is the player character that overlaps, with this component here, because this is the call2 component. And we know that the player character is implementing this interface, so I know for sure that this function will trigger. Okay? But it also says that this does nothing if the target does not implement the required interface. We just added it to a character, and it's only really the character that will overlap with this component here. So I know that this actor will be the character that implements the interface. So what are we going to do if that is the case? Well, if this is the character, I'm going to add this exit nodes location in here, because we are going to go to the other side now. And then we have the rotation here. I'm going to do a print string here and just type call2. This is just for testing purposes, so I know things are working fine and we are getting to this point. I'm going to reroute node, drag it here like this. Alright, so we need to do one final thing. We are going to make sure that this col2 is not really the exit collider, okay? Because we are not going to exit from this because this is really, we only want to do this if we are, this is the entrance collider, okay? The enter collider. Because we really need to, because if we go from one portal to the other, we really need to keep track of whether we are really exiting one portal or whether we are really entering one portal. And the thing is that in this case, we could either be overlapping with this when we are actually entering this portal. We could also overlap with this collider when we are really exiting from here. Because if you recall, if I go back to the viewport, if I enter the blue one, I will get out to the same location on the other side, but that will also trigger an overlap event on the other collider. Okay, so I need to know, am I now exiting the other side from the blue portal, or am I really just entering the other side from the red portal? Okay, so you need to be aware of that. Because if I just go directly here in the red portal for the first time, I'm entering it. But I could also, and when I'm entering it the first time, I will overlap with this collider here. However, I can also overlap with this collider here by exiting this portal. And we enter from the blue one and exit from the red one. And doing that, I will also, collide with this collision box here, or overlap with it. So we need to keep track of whether we are overlapping, entering, or exiting those colliders. That's why I'm using that exit collider. Go back here. I want to know, is this an entrance or is this really an exit attempt here that's going on? So I'm going to do it like this, not equal to, let's see, the exit collider. I'm going to drag this out. So if we are not really exiting here, I'm going to enter this one, and then we are saving this value of the variable here. So we know that if we just entered this one here, called col2, then we know for sure that our exit collider will be col1, the other side. So that's why I'm updating this collider variable here. Okay, so now that we've done this for col2, we are going to do the same thing for col1. So really, we just need to copy paste and change the variable. So I'm going to copy all of this, Control C, Control V. And then let us just change the variables. So it says col2 here. I'm going to change it to 1, col1, and delete that. And then let's see, yeah, it says col1 here, so I'm going to change this to col2. It should go here and it should go there. I'm going to delete that. P1 capture, I'm going to change that to P2 capture. All right. So, and then of course we need the other actor. And then I'm gonna type col1 here. This is just for testing purposes. All right, so now that this is done, I'm gonna compile and save. We still have a few things to do. I'm gonna do this col1 and col2. Let's do the others. We still have time for that. I hope the video does not get a little bit too lengthy, but we still need to finish this, so let's do this. It's not so much left. So for the overlapping the end component, we are gonna really just clear the exit collider because we just exited a portal. So let's just drag this exit collider here and do this. We want to also check if this is the, let's see, if the overlap component is equal to this. So we are really just end overlapping call 1, but I want to see if this is equal to the exit collider. And if that is the case, well, we just want to nullify that exit collider. So I'm going to do a branch by holding down the B key and left clicking. Like this. And I'm going to duplicate these. All right, so let's just connect these together, and we're going to do a similar thing here. I'm gonna, yeah, we're gonna nullify the exit collider here as well, because we can also exit from call 2, we can exit from call 1. And one of the final things we are going to do is we are going to create a place portal function here. Let's see, it's an event actually, add custom event, place portal. And this will be used for spawning in portals, or should I say placing existing portals to the correct location. I'm going to add some inputs to this. Blue/orange. And then this should be a vector. And the second input here should be a rotator, really. I'm gonna name them. New location, new rotation. So let's do this before we let's try to do as much as we can before we finish this. Yeah. So place portal. So what I'm gonna do is we can get out D1 here, and D2. Depending on which portal we are, we want to do some work with here, we can do a select. It's almost like a if statement. And connect these here and connect this here. So if this is the blue one, as in true here, we are gonna D2. Otherwise, we are gonna choose D1 as an output. And then we can do set relative scales. We can just do set world location and rotation. Set world location and this should really be based on this output here. So I'm just gonna connect these together. And we got the location here. I'm gonna add them and the rotation. Let's connect these. Okay. I'm gonna do a reroute node. I'm gonna drag it down a bit, connect these together. All right, so I think that's good for now. You don't need to scale anything or animate anything for now. Maybe we could do that later, or I will give you that as a challenge. We will see. But we can do that later. And for now, we've done a lot already. It looks a lot, but it really isn't. We had mainly just done some checks of, when we enter and exit the portal and clearing that variable whenever we exit any of the portals, really. If you look here in the exit nodes, we are clearing those. And that's only when we are end overlapping with collision 1 or collision 2. We are really nearing to be able to test this so we can jump through portals. But there is still one more thing to do because we want to be able to shoot projectiles and, you know, spawn those portals. So we are going to focus on that very soon. So there's still some work to do, but we are getting there. It's not really much left. And we will continue with this in the next video because I think it's getting a little bit too long. All right, so thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one.